Awesome. So how's it going in terms of like preparation? Are you feeling, it's pretty cliche to say, but are you feeling as good as ever?
Yeah, like it is very cliche to say, lad. But I've had the best fight camp of my life, lad. I'm in the best shape of my life. Feel absolutely on fire, lad, and doesn't matter who I was fighting on Saturday, lad, to get him finished.
Awesome. So it's the beginning of fight week. Now, you're used to fight week. You're used to all the emotions that come with fight week. Given the stage, it's a much grander stage. Are you feeling anything different, anything heightened than normal?
Nah, that's all the same to me, lad. I'm getting in there to punch someone's head in a cage, lad. So,
Same old,
same old, lad, same old.
Yeah, man. So you declined the UFC at first. So we know that the UFC were sniffing about a couple of years ago. There was a lot of hype around you then and now. Why did you make the decision to go now instead of then? Was there a good reason for it?
Well, back then I was still a child, lad. You know what I mean? I wasn't a man yet. I was still a child in a child's body. I won a world title when I was 21, lad. As a child, still partying all the time, not being a professional. I was just a fighter then. I wasn't an athlete. Now I'm an athlete and a fighter, and everyone's going to see that come Saturday.
Was there a moment between the kind of child in a man's body and then to now? Was there a moment significance that kind of stuck out that you were like, right, this is it, I'm ready for that bigger stage?
Just over the past year, 18 months, lad, when I've started actually doing a proper S&C regime, because when I won the world title I never even done strength conditioning, and then when I fought Soren Bach, I didn't cut any weight. I just dieted to 70k, and I noticed the difference when I got in there with him. I never had no muscle back then. I was still a skinny little kid, and now it's completely different.
You can see the difference. You can see the difference mentally. You can certainly see it physically as well, man. So, main card. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, we were aware that you were going to be. There was uncertainty as to where you were going to be fighting. Now you're on the main card.
There was never any uncertainty, lad. There was no uncertainty at all.
Uncertainty from the media standpoint, perhaps, but you and yourself, you were always expecting to be on that main card. No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise that, lad. They know the new cash cow is, lad, and they're going to milk it.
For sure. So, confidence. Your confidence is polarising. Now, we've not seen many characteristics like that in folk. People like McGregor and people like yourself. Where is that coming from? Is that instilled within you?
Yeah, I've just always believed in myself ever since I was a kid, lad. When I was 16, I put a post on the Cage Warriors forum, lad, saying I am the best amateur bantamweight in the country. Does anyone dispute this? And when people put names in, lad, I ticked them off the list and kept beating them as I went through, lad, and stayed unbeaten in amateur. So I've always had this confidence, lad. It's always been there inside me. Every fight where I've lost, lad, I've went in like half unprepared or injured or with thinking I was better than I was. Know what I mean? And like that was because I was a kid as well. And now, lad, I'm a completely different animal.
So it's safe to say then, you feel like it's not so much a knock on you, there was just summing off every time. It wasn't any other than that.
No, well, I only consider one of my losses a real loss, lad, against Cameron Else when I was 18, when I was a child. He caught me in a choke in like 40 seconds and put me to sleep. Know what I mean? The other two I don't even really consider losses because we were both on steroids. When I fought Nad, I cut like 7.7 kg overnight. I had gastroenteritis and I had doctors telling me I shouldn't fight. I still fought. Then again, when I fought Soren Bach, I didn't cut any weight at all. I went into that fight with 3 months post-surgery. Hand was still fucked. I was wearing a splint. Up until fight night, I was wearing a splint for every session on my wrist. That's why I couldn't finish that choke. And then obviously at the start of the second, I hit him with the right hand and broke my hand again. So I look at them fights and I just think, if I went to them with 100% health and professional and stuff like that, then I would be 18-1.
And you'd know within yourself, you know your own abilities, your own kind of styles and stuff. So yeah, I can imagine that. So you share this card with a lot of fellow countrymen, countrywomen, Molly McCann, Darren Till. Now it's usually the UK cards that get so many talents for your UK. Now you're in Vegas, it's like a big Scouse takeover. This is going to be big for UK MMA, but see, just for the city of Liverpool, like, how do you think that's going to be impacting Liverpool, certainly for people coming up and seeing yourselves as big influences?
It's going to be brilliant, lad. I always say it, one of my main goals is to inspire the next generation of kids coming through, and I know that's what I'm going to do, lad. I'm going to introduce a whole new crowd of people to MMA, like I have done for years, lad. Filling the Echo Arena out on my own with just a Cage Warriors name without a UFC name attached to it. You know what I mean? I sold that out without having UFC attached to it, lad. I've done that on my own. So don't worry, lad. Next few years, lad, we're going to do Anfield.
For sure, man. Do you think then that this is Britain's kind of biggest performance on the big stage? It's never been quite prominent.
Yeah, it probably is, to be honest. It's big, lad, isn't it? It's going to be a go.
Yeah, man, you can feel the energy if it's going across the social medias, going across the community for MMA fans. You can certainly see it, and yeah, we're all pumped for it. So, jumping on to the fight, Vendramini, do you study your opponents and see what they're about, or is that a coach's job?
My coaches do it more, like, but obviously we have a lad in the gym who does breakdowns, Carl. So I've got a 17-minute video where the Luigi Vendramini lad full breakdown, what he's good at, what he's bad at, his mannerisms, what he does, what he doesn't do. And lad, I'm gonna fucking kill him, lad. It's gonna be proper sly, lad. It's gonna be our ass. I'm gonna send him to the chopping board.
So I've noticed that's been your mindset and focus over these past few weeks since the fight was announced. Now, given his opponents beforehand, you're without a doubt his biggest opponent. Do you think he's perhaps been watching a bit more footage, kind of trying to see more about yourself than he would ever with anyone else?
Yeah, he'll have been watching me, obviously going back, watching all my fights, because you can watch all my fights, like, because I haven't fought on shit shows against bums, where he did before he got to the UFC, you know what I mean? I think he went 8-0, lad, with eight finishes against absolute crabs in Brazil. Yeah. Most of them, like, debutants and that, so I look at his record and I just see him as 1-2, because they're his UFC fights, where I've been fighting high-level guys since I was fucking 18, and as I say, lad, I'm gonna proper hit him, lad. It's gonna be messy. I'm on a TKO or submit him or knock him clean out in the first round, lad. There's no way he gets out the first round.
Have you been envisioning it? Has it been something that's been playing on your mind?
Lad, I'm just gonna proper hit him, lad. I'm gonna send him back to Brazil to be a delivery boy again.
No, you sound game. So, as we said, just talking about your kind of polarising figure, right? Larger than life. What do you think he thinks of you right now? Just based on, we know what he'll think of your fighting ability, but as a personality, what do you think he's thinking of you as he sees some footage?
He's not going to like me, lad, is he? You know what I mean? You don't want to get based on what looks like me and talks like me. It's that simple, lad.
So, he's earned his drops in the UFC. We know his record's not sublime, right? Now, fighting him in terms of yourself, it's almost like, I mean, you could be looking at it's just a kind of tune-up fight to the bigger leagues in the UFC. Have you got any big plans after this? Like, beating him, not going to catapult you into that top 10 or top 15 just yet. Have you got names and call-outs and everything kind of stored in that head of yours?
People are going to be calling me out, lad. People are going to want to fight me, lad. As I said before, I'm the new cash cow, lad. People are going to be calling me out, and I'll just, whatever the UFC put on the table for me, contract, I'll sign it, lad. This fight, lad, I got offered 4 different opponents, and Luigi was the 4th one. I said yes to every opponent. And that's what I'll continue to do. You know what I mean? I won't shy away from a fight against anyone, and I'll keep just signing contracts, lad, and fighting, and that's what I plan on doing. As I say, whoever the UFC has in plan for me after this fight, I will be taking that fight, lad. I won't say no to anyone. Yeah. I'm a real fighter, lad.
No, we don't doubt it. Is there anyone? So I guess that you're very active in the kind of terms of watching fights. Anybody in that division, in the lightweight division now that you're like, yeah, I'd like a crack at him, or is it a kind of free-for-all?
I don't even watch that much MMA, lad. I'm in the gym fucking most of the day, so I haven't got time to sit around and watch MMA, lad. I'm in the gym all day, lad. Also, he likes MMA. I don't need to sit around and watch it.
So your last fight's a submission, and we've seen a lot of ground and pound going on as well. Now, people have kind of categorised you as a submission based artist. Are you going in here with a statement like, are you wanting to separate for that, or is that a submission fine with you, just as long as you get finished?
No, as long as I get the finish, lad. But obviously, I've said it depends what Luigi Vendramini wants to do. If he wants to stand with me, I'm going to knock him out. If he wants to grapple with me, I'm going to submit him. No matter where the fight goes, I am better than him. You know what I mean? So, get out the way, you.
You see any danger then, like based on his style, anything at all, or is it just kind of tunnel vision?
It's tunnel vision, but obviously anyone can knock anyone out with one punch, lad, and he swings big overhand right, lad. So that's what I've got to be careful of. And he's got a quick right high kick, but I don't think he's going to get near me enough to throw that, lad. I think I'm going to kick him and punch him up to bits, and then if he wants to try and grapple with me, as I say, I'll fucking guillotine him or flying triangle him or something, lad. He won't even be able to take me down. So
that's what you're known for. So decision win, unanimous decision win, is that going to be a very big dissatisfaction in your eyes?
Yeah, that's not happening, lad. If he gets out the second round, I will be heartbroken. But as I say, I can't see him getting out the first, lad. If this goes to decision, I'll be very disappointed in myself. Unless it's a decision like Holloway versus Calvin Kattar.
Like a total obliteration?
Yeah.
So, how long do you think then, Paddy Pimblett, UFC headline event, Anfield, realistically, how far down the line do you think that is?
2 years, lad, if that, you know what I mean? As I say, when I win this fight, lad, like, that's a good thing about this being in Vegas, lad. I get to meet Dana, Hunter, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, and lad, they're all going to love me. As soon as they meet me, lad, I'm going to have them all in a headlock. They're all going to be like, this is the new kid on the block. And that's what's going to happen, lad. I know I'm going to win this fight in spectacular fashion, and then I'll be getting promoted a lot. Like your O'Malley's and stuff like that, lad. That's what's coming.
And what do you think the secret is to Paddy the Baddy, just on the basis of being such a kind of massive British fighter, but then crossing over the Atlantic to America? What do you think it is that will be most appealing to them?
Just being myself, lad. You've got a lot of idiots out there now, like Colby Covington and that, who put a persona on. And I'm not about that, lad. This isn't WWE, lad. What you see is what you get. And people think I put personas on for cameras, lad. When you meet me in person, lad, you know that I don't. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of that over the years. I thought you'd be different in person. You know what I mean? And I'm not, lad. What you see is what you get. And I'll show all the UFC officials that, and they're all going to love me, lad. This is no act. I am just Paddy from Huyton.
Yeah, that's it. I've spoken to people who have interviewed you, and they've saw you in person. And again, it's on camera, off camera. What you see is what you get. So, yeah, I think that's perhaps part of the beauty of the way that you come across, is that you're very genuine and very likeable and very relatable. So I think that's probably going to transfer very well to the States, and that's out with the cage. Never mind your performances and your talents in the cage. It's going to be amazing, Paddy. I'm looking really forward to it.
It is. It's going to be unbelievable, lad. I'll be honest. I cannot wait, lad. It's going to be unbelievable. Like, I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to steal the show. I'm going to win 50 grand. And I'm going to go bananas when I win, lad.
What are you going to buy off the 50 grand? What's the first thing?
I don't know, I haven't got a clue, lad. Probably pay for me fucking wedding.
Awesome. So you've got a city behind you, got a country behind you. Is there anybody at all, just in this journey from Cage Warriors up to the UFC, anybody you want to give a shout out to that's been there along the way?
Yeah, obviously my family, my fiance, my friends, my gym family. You know what I mean? All them have been with me all the way, lad. I don't know where I'd be now without all them. Don't even know if I'd still be here, lad. So without all them, lads, like my close-knit circle of mates, my fiance, my family, all my gym mates who have been there from day one, lad. Like, they're the people who I need to thank. And then also my management, Graham Boylan, Ian Dean as well. He's the man. So they're the people who I need to thank, lad.
Awesome, man. Molly McCann. I've seen Molly McCann's preparation. How is Molly McCann thinking? Do you think she's going to get a nice and dominant finish?
Yeah, she's going to win, lad, all day in the bay.
Yeah.
She's coming for that W, lad.
She's looking great. Social media, what's the main social media for you now? Because we know there's a couple kind of been floating about. Where can fans follow your journey?
Well, lad, to be honest, I'm going to call Instagram out after a win, because they need to give me my proper account back, lad. It's an absolute joke. People troll me and then I give them it back, and I'm the one whose account's being took off me for bullying and harassment.
It's a joke.
It's an absolute joke, lad. But as I say, they're getting called out in my post-fight interview. And I've had to make a new Instagram, lad, at Paddy the Baddy UFC. And then obviously on Twitter, I'm just at Paddy the Baddy. So hopefully I get my account back, lad, over the next few weeks. If not, I'm going to absolutely terrorise Instagram to fuck.
Nah, no wonder, man. Instagram's important, you know. It's good to keep in tabs with folk, but it's a lot about the kind of image and promotion and that as well. So no,
It
we'll
is,
get on
lad.
that.
It's your promotion and your sponsorships and
Sure.
stuff. Like, I'm worried about how I'm going to have my livelihood, lad, without that Instagram, lad, with 157,000 followers. That's how I earn my money, lad. I earn more money through that than I do through fighting. So, know what I mean?
Paddy the Barry, I really appreciate you coming on. I've been wanting to talk to you for some time. I'm looking forward to seeing you along with all your other Scouse fighters. We'll maybe catch up post-fight if it's possible to get a chat with you after all that kind of hype.
Never know, lad. Just shoot me a message. Let me know. You know the score, fella.
All the best, my man. You take it easy. Thanks again, all right?